Evening all, Remarks here, back again with another video, back again with another VR180 video. So you've probably seen some of my recent videos. I've been filming on a VR180 camera. I've been inserting Oculus Quest gameplay into it, and you've kind of been able to look around in your VR headset in 3D and watch me play. It's been kind of cool, it's been an interesting experiment, and the camera that I use to film that VR180 on is this. It's the Insta360 EVO. Now the Insta360 EVO is a £400 camera. It is pretty cool. It does switch from 360 and VR180 just with a click of a button, and it works really well. And the reason why I'm doing this video in particular is A, to kind of cover how do I use it and what do I think about this camera, but also the camera is coming up for sale. So this is the first time you're going to be able to get 20% off this camera, either on the Amazon website or the Insta360 website, because it's going to be part of the Amazon Prime Day deal. So you can get a whole 20% off this camera, and I kind of thought maybe some of you guys might be thinking about picking it up. If you are, do make sure you use my links. But I thought it'd be good to kind of give you my kind of revised opinion on the camera, how I've been using it, what I think about it, and whether you really should spend your time, effort and money on this camera. Does it get a thumbs up? Spoiler, yes it does. So for those of you that don't know, what is a VR180 camera? Now you can kind of see from this camera here, it has two lenses on the front. This does 5.7K, and essentially each of these lenses is an eye, so one for each. They're both sort of wide angle lenses. They think they see sort of some like 220 degrees, so a little bit more than 180. But what happens is one eye sort of does one eye in your VR headset, the other does the other, and you get a proper stereoscopic 3D image when you watch it back. So you're able to also look around in 180 degrees. So you can look up, you can look down, you can look left, you can look right, and sort of see what's going on. So pretty much wherever you put this camera, it will see everything that's in front of it, everything. And it's pretty cool. With it being in 3D, it's even more special and makes it perfect to pair with a VR headset. So the Oculus Quest or the Oculus Go, this camera pairs with it perfectly. And there are a few reasons why it actually probably pairs with those headsets better than any others out there. But we'll get into that later. It also is a 360 camera. So at the top, there's just a little button that you press, and then it kind of folds the camera in half, and then you can kind of click it, and then it becomes a 360 camera. So you get a lens on either side, and that then does 180 either side, and it only does it in 2D, but you get 5.7K photos and videos in 360 with this camera. And it's recently had an upgrade as well, which helped us fix some of the stitching lines. So if you kind of imagine the cameras, there's one lens one side, one lens the other side, when they take those two photos or videos, they've got to kind of meld them together to make a full 360 degree sphere. Now that stitch line where those two images come together, it wasn't great when the camera first came out, but it's had a few updates since, and now it's pretty good. I've got no real complaints. This is now my go-to 360 camera for both photos and videos. It also does HDR, so high dynamic range photos and videos. And what that means is it takes videos and photos at different exposure levels and kind of melds them all together. So it takes bright photos and dark photos, then melds them all together so the bright bits aren't so bright, the dark bits aren't so dark, and you can kind of see a lot more detail. And it's one of the few cameras that does that. It's got full manual control, which a lot of other cameras don't as well. And one of its best tricks up its sleeve is it links straight in with your VR headset. So your Oculus Go, your Oculus Quest, you can turn this camera on, you can connect to its Wi-Fi via your VR headset, so your Oculus Quest or Oculus Go, via their app, their 360 VR app, and it allows you to then view through the camera in real time what it's seeing in 3D. So 5.7K straight from the camera to the headset, and that's perfect because if you're trying to line up a shot, trying to kind of figure out, is something too close, is it too far away, does it make you go kind of cross-eyed, being able to view it in real time when you set this camera up and then sort of judge for yourself whether it kind of is comfortable to watch does make a massive difference. And it saved me a few times from kind of filming some stuff, not realizing I was too close, and if you were watching it too close, it would be horrible and you would be really uncomfortable to watch. So being able to watch it in a VR headset in real time from the camera lenses has been pretty cool. You can also watch stuff that's recorded on this camera straight off it as well to the VR headset. So if you record something in 5.7K, you can connect it to the Wi-Fi again. You can then watch it kind of streamed from the device itself, from the camera, or you can actually sort of download it to your headset and watch it. And that's great because you're able to check your footage before you get home, before it's too late to maybe redo it, all that sort of stuff, and instantly be able to share sort of a moment maybe from previously in the day with people in VR. And it is going to be in 3D if you do it in VR 180 mode, and you do get the full 5.7K sort of quality. So you can stream that straight off the device to your headset, or you can actually choose to download it. So if it's downloaded to your headset, it does play a little bit smoother. Definitely worth doing if you kind of want to kind of preview it in the highest quality, but it's nice to think that you can kind of transfer it straight to your VR headset. The Insta360 VR app is only officially on the Oculus Go, so it's on the Oculus Go store. It hasn't been authorized for the Oculus Quest yet, but you can sideload the Insta360 VR app onto your Oculus Quest, and it does work. And I will leave a link to it down below, and my tutorial on how to sideload apps to your headset, so that you can put it on there as well. I do find that I use the Oculus Go more because you can kind of take it around a bit easier. There's only one controller, the whole overall package is a bit smaller, and you don't have to worry about sort of setting up guardian barriers or anything like that. You just put the headset on, boot up the app, connect to the Wi-Fi, and you're viewing the footage that's on there. I find the form factor of this camera really good. It's kind of almost GoPro size, which makes it really convenient for carrying around. I do have a little sort of case here that I keep it in. It's quite a convenient little sort of pouch. It's got a little sort of belt clip, so quite often or not, I'll sort of have it clipped onto my belt. I have maybe a sort of a quick release kind of plate on the bottom sort of thing, like a little tiny one, and the case is perfect. So it slots in there, that goes on my hip, and it actually does a really good job of kind of picking out, doing what I want to do with it, popping it back in, you know, making full use of this camera. So like they always say with most cameras, you know, the best camera for you is the camera that you've got with you, so you need to be able to carry this with you. So this is a perfect size. You could, in theory, I guess, pocket it if you put it like in a little sort of pouch, so a little cloth pouch. It does come with one, but I kind of prefer the harder case. Protect those two lenses. It's got a nice kind of like felty sort of inside to it, and a slot for another memory card, which I find useful because this does take up to 128GB cards. I've heard people use bigger ones, but I usually use 128 gig because I can't imagine losing that much data. Would be a nightmare. For me personally, I use this mainly for VR 180, so that sort of 3D looking around sort of thing. I find that's kind of the biggest draw for me now these days, especially with the VR headset. So because I've got the Oculus Go, the Oculus Quest, the footage that I create with this is so easy to kind of view in that headset and kind of get the full use of it. It seems silly to do anything else, but it does do 360 as well. So you press the little button on the top, you can spin it around, and you can lock it into place, and you get yourself a 360 camera, so a lens on either side. And for that, I probably mainly use it for photos. So the photos that come out of this are 5.7K. You can do HDR photos as well, so that nice high dynamic range. It works really well. It's got the tripod mount at the bottom here, and if you use their invisible selfie stick, it's only really invisible because the stick itself kind of hides within the stitch line of the camera. So if you imagine that there's two cameras either side, the stick itself goes right down the middle. Because the camera can't technically see that stick, it appears invisible. So you've seen in some of my videos where I've been walking along with this camera in tiny planet mode, and it's almost looked like it's just a floating camera, like a drone or something is just following me. It's been this camera on a nice long stick, so I've got various length ones. I've got short sticks, I've got long sticks, I've got some that are 3 meters long, and you can use that, and it does kind of give you that kind of quite cool sort of drone effect. So that tiny planet mode, I've done a few of those videos where I just kind of wander around with the camera, talking to it while it's above me or behind me or whatever, kind of showing you everything around me like I'm sitting on my own little planet. And that's what this camera allows you to do, and it's super easy to edit that as well. So the apps themselves that you get on your phone allow you to edit those videos and photos into those sort of modes, and then when you edit it and save it, you can then import that into your Adobe Premiere or whatever you want to do to edit it into a bigger piece, which is what I do at the moment. Because what that tiny planet mode is essentially doing is taking that 360 video that goes all around you and kind of reframing it, so it pulls it all in and makes a tiny little planet. But what you can also do is pull in, so you've seen it as well in a few of my videos where I've been walking through fields and all sorts, and the camera kind of flicks from sort of looking forward to looking back to looking up to looking around in a normal view. So a normal view like you're seeing in this video at the moment, but it was actually a 360 camera in front of me the entire time while I was filming, and I didn't move. There wasn't anybody extra there filming. I was then able to kind of reframe and sort of animate that sort of video, that 360 video, to look like a normal video where it kind of looks around and pans in 360 degrees or up and down or around or flicks a different camera. It's almost like having a cameraman with you at all times, because you can kind of just shoot it, forget about it, and then just reframe it and choose what you want to look at when you come to edit it. And there's actually some GoPro plugins that you can use for this camera to do that in Adobe Premiere, and it works really, really well. But the Insta360 software that you get on the desktop app, so Windows and Mac, that allows you to do it as well. It's just, I personally find it better, the workflow better on Adobe Premiere. And the great thing with Adobe Premiere as well is it's got a plugin from Insta that allows you to kind of import the footage from this camera without stitching it. So when you do film in VR180 or 360, you need to stitch the files together. So it takes two files, one for each camera, and then it's got to put them both together into either the VR180 or the 360. Now that takes a little bit of time, that can kind of slow down your overall process. If you use the plugin that comes with the software that you get for this camera on your PC or Mac, you can then sort of edit in real time. So you just import the unstitched footage straight into Adobe Premiere. You can then edit it however you want, in whichever way you want, and when you export, it then stitches that footage. So you're not kind of stitching together for hours all the footage that you don't need, just the footage you do need, which saves you a ton of time and makes the process so much easier. So this camera and the software and Insta360 are awesome, and I absolutely do recommend it. One thing I think I should touch on a little bit more is the mobile apps. You get them on Android and for iOS, and they are pretty good. They do update them quite often. They're quite stable. You can edit the footage, you can edit the photos, you can then import, say, the photos into additional softwares. I use the Theta Plus app then to edit and sort of color correct and even animate the photos. So the 360 photo, you take it, like I was saying with the video where you can reframe it on the desktop, you can do that with the photos and kind of spin them around. So if you've got kind of the photo set up 360 degrees in the middle of a group of people, you can make it animate as a GIF that spins around everyone, or as a little MP4 that you can upload to Twitter, to Instagram, to wherever, and share with friends and family, and it's pretty cool. So do I recommend this camera? Absolutely. This is my go-to VR180 camera. If I was going to pick up any VR180 camera, it'd be this one. It's convenient, it's a convenient size. I just kind of love the quality of the footage that comes out of it, the ease of use, all the sort of updates and stuff they put into it. This camera is almost perfect. I think the only kind of things I would wish is it maybe had some sort of internal real-time stitching for the 5.7K footage, so you can just kind of literally just take out the footage and it's just done. There's no faffing, there's no whatever. But you know, I mean, there are extra steps. The cameras are still kind of new, they're getting bigger and better every year, and this is definitely a better camera than we had sort of a few years ago. And technology, and Insta360 in particular, are definitely kind of pushing the boundaries of what it's capable of. I have a personal business where I use the Insta360 Pro 2 camera, which is an 8K 360 3D camera, so it sees in 360 degrees 3D. That is pretty cool, but that's a $5,000 camera, whereas this is 400 quid, $400, and it's going to be 20% off during the 15th and 16th of this month. So if you're tempted, you want one of these cameras, absolutely grab it. And let me know in the comments down below, are there any sort of videos you want me to kind of cover on this? I've got various accessories. Maybe I can show you how to kind of actually film VR180, what my thought process is. If that sort of thing interests you, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I mean, this camera for me, for now, and how it works is absolutely perfect. I'm loving it. I can't get enough of it. It's pretty much with me wherever I go, and it gets an absolute thumbs up. If you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. That's fine. I'm big enough and ugly enough to take it. But do let me know in the comments down below why you didn't like it. I'll try and do better for next time. Become one of the Remarkables. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified when I next upload a video. And that's me done. I'm out. Have a virtual VR180 high five.